Welcome to The Platform, a series designed to give the body of Christ a platform to share all that God is doing.
In September of 2019, I started experiencing a chronic cough. And after a week or so, my wife encouraged me to go to the doctor. And when I saw the specialist, he noticed that there was a spot on my liver. So they did the x-rays and the MRI scans, and it came back that I had a lesion on my liver that was measuring 1.3 centimeters. And in several weeks, me and my wife were called in, and he said, Mr. and Ms. Lindsay, he said, we reviewed this lesion. He said it's not 1.3 centimeters because when they did the test, they had a bad angle. He said the lesions have grown, which is tumors. He said the lesions have grown to 3.4 centimeters. He said, and it's cancerous. Now, when I heard that word, it shook my foundation. That word cancer. And he said, right now, you are in stage 3 of liver cancer. And I looked at my wife, and we said, okay, what's next? What do we do? So he said, well, we're going to we're going to remove the tumors to the liver, and we're going to cut off the diseased portion of the liver. So we agreed to have the surgery. And the day of the surgery, I went in, and it was a 6 to 8 hour surgery. Unbeknownst to me, when they had went in, the tumors that they were going to remove from the liver were too large for them to even see the liver. They made a decision to forego the operation because they didn't want to lose me on the table. Bishop called and for an update of what was going on, and we talked. And Bishop mentioned a procedure called Y90. I had never heard of it because we was talking about radiation treatments and down the road chemotherapy and all of that. And Bishop said, well, have they considered Y90? So we went back to the doctor, me and my wife, and we asked about this Y90. And they were surprised that we even knew about this procedure. And so they said, well, it's an experimental procedure, it's been a couple of years, and well, we can try that. We can do that, and then we'll follow up that with some radiation. We went back after the treatment, and he said, Mr. Lindsay, your cancer has evolved into stage 4. So we're talking now about transplanting, cadaver transplants, and we're talking about a quality of life, not recovery from anything, just how long, and what medicines we can administer to you to make it more comfortable for you. They called us in to set up a plan going forward to how we was going to deal with this. At least that's what me and my wife thought when we went there. And we got to the office, and they didn't come in for a while. And after a while, they came in, and he sat down. He said, Mr. Lindsay, he said, your body has reacted very well to the treatment. He said, he was sitting in front of the computer. He said, we are well pleased. And he turned the computer around. He said, that's where your liver area is. He said, you see that hole right there? I said, yes, sir. He said, Mr. and Ms. Lindsay, that's where the tumors were. He said, we can't find anything where the tumors were. They're gone. There's no residue of it ever being there. I looked at my wife and we was like, for what? And he said, oh, and Mr. Lindsay, see those little specks that was on your liver? He said, that's on your liver and I see them specks? I said, yeah. He said, that's where the cancer was. He said, there is no more cancer. There is no more cancer. He said, there is not even a remnant of showing that on this computer where you ever had cancer. He said, you are completely cancer free. Now we're talking about stage 4 liver cancer. People with stage 3 and stage 2 go through chemotherapy and have to be on drugs the rest of their life and go through. I had to do none of that.
But that's not where the story ends. The story picks up there. After the healing, the liver, and it was liver cancer. After the healing, there was a time where he still needed a liver because there was cirrhosis. The cancer's gone, but the cirrhosis is there.
When we went to the doctor, and because at first we were looking at a cadaver donor, but my liver was such in a state that the doctors and the team decided that that was not an option, that I would have to do a living donor transplant. And to have someone do that for me, I wasn't real keen on that. And so the doctor said, well, I'll give you a couple days to think about it. Here she go. My wife. No, we're not gonna think about it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that. He said, well, you got to get tested to see if y'all match blood-wise. And we did. And she was a match.
So we go through all the testing, and in September, we actually had the surgery where I was a donor and he was the recipient of over half of my liver.
They took 65% of her liver, took mine out and replaced it. My surgery was about 14 hours. The enemy comes to you at your most weakest and vulnerable point. So while I was in the hospital, the enemy kept telling me, look at you. You did this. All that drug use and everything, and you having a good time, now look at you. And you've caused somebody else some pain because of your actions and what your choices were. And I had to deal with that. And sometimes now I still deal with it, because I know we, spirit-filled and, we trust God. But the reality is that your mind is more important really than your body. You go through the physical surgery and everything, but the mental aspect of first hearing stage 4 cancer, tumor. Now, cirrhosis of the liver with the teaming of hepatitis C. So I got started treatment for the hepatitis C. It's supposed to be 6 to 8 week process.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. I took one dose, I think it was a week or so, that we went back to the doctor. And he said my hep C was gone.
Not traceable.
Not traceable. Not traceable. Like I never had it. So I go from stage 4 liver cancer to not having any trace of cancer, like I never had cancer, no tumors, like I never had tumors. And now you're gonna tell me hep C is gone, before, the prescribed medicine is supposed to take effect. That ain't nothing but God. And I say this, that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. When God showed me Cindy, he actually was showing me my life, because she was carrying my life inside of her with the liver. Never
did he ever think that, the person that he's been with for all these years would be the person, that's what God would use to save his life. Because that's what we were faced with. It was a life or death type of situation.
We went through something that wasn't for us. It was for others. I trust that this testimony will encourage somebody that may be going through, a situation where they've got something going on in their body, some disease, cancer, facing a transplant, whatever the diagnosis is. We went through what we went through for them. And I've had people tell me, what you went through wasn't for you, it was for somebody else. You had to go through it so somebody else can be encouraged and have the strength to know that if they can go through that, then I can do it too. And if God did it for them, he can do it for me.